Alright, I am at spawn, which is kind of fitting. So, okay, the reason I was at spawn, let me continue for, alright, I was just looking at this cobble storage for the cobble generator, which was informed to the person who made it not to make this for a lot of reasons, which he obviously took no time in hearing. So, I gotta talk about a lot of things all at once. As far as where I just left off recording, the design went well, I think. I don't know. I think Nuke. I logged off short. Somebody killed all the cows. Somebody killed all the people.
It
God.
was Oreo because he wanted to cut down the lag.
Oreo wanted to cut down the
Kind
leg.
of a bad idea.
Yeah, alright. Well, you gotta leave at least two cows here. So that's a, an act of incourtesy. I am the only person on the server, I think, who actually still eats steak. So I actually rely on that cow farm. Thanks, Oreo. And that's kind of part of the whole thing I want to talk about. I haven't been active on this server in like 3 weeks. That might be a bit much, but about 3 weeks it feels like. That's for just so many reasons. I mean, school is always the easy one, because that's just like every single day I go to school, I feel like my head is being dunked underwater, and then I get to come home or I get to breathe for a while, and then it's dunked right back under the next morning every single day. This is nothing new on my channel, so I'm just going to continue after that. I actually, and then there's been things like I wasn't able to record in the Ruby Center for a long time, and that's because it turned out that I had dynamic lights turned to fancy. This affects glowstone. We have a quad witch farm in perfect spawning situations. Shouldn't have to explain that one. So I couldn't actually record. I remade an entire video complaining and talking about that. Deleted all the footage today because I realized afterwards that I knew what was causing the lag, and as you guys can see here, it's actually a pretty smooth recording. I've talked about screen tearing, and I know how to fix it. It's called a better CPU. I'm going to talk about that later. In that recording, let me just cover everything I did that I didn't show. I took out all the glass in the middle here, killed all our pets down here. Um, Yeah, they had to go. I'm sorry, they weren't that great. The cards have been made, kind of. They look pretty kick-ass. And let's head to the slime farm to show the other updates, because I talked about a lot of things. So one thing some of you might realize about my audio, what really? Oh yeah, when you're flying, it doesn't actually play some of these sound effects. I don't know what the deal is, but let me get down here just real quick. You hear that? So a lot of people have asked me if I record my audio twice. Well, no. I have the Logitech G430 headset, which is a very good, price to performance, cost effective headset that I use. I think it sounds pretty good. I mean, obviously that's up to you guys. And the audio is actually 7.1 surround sound. Pretty fancy, I know. Except that means that I have basically a speaker up here, 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 here. I'll put a display on the screen to show exactly what that's like. And then I, I edit and then upload my videos in 5.1 surround sound, which I believe is only a headset here, here, and up, or a speaker here, here in the front. So what I think was happening was all of these different speakers were all being recorded at the same time, and that made my audio sound a little bit different than it was. You'll hear when I start taking damage, that always sounded doubled up, and that was kind of annoying. So let's get out of here. And I think I've solved that now. This might sound better. Obviously, you guys are going to be the judges, but I just wanted to cover that because that was also in the lost footage. And then a couple other things that I talked about were basically that I've been pretty demotivated in playing recently, and not for any real good reasons. I mean, like, personally, when Allison left, that was kind of a, a little bit of a blow to morale. I've been really lonely and kicking it. And, humans are social creatures, so if you don't have other people, I mean, happiness isn't real when it isn't shared. That's something all of you should learn. If you don't have somebody to share it with, then you got nothing going on. So, like, after the end of the day, when I've recorded all my videos, talked to all the guys on Minerva, I sometimes go entire days without even looking at my phone, because there's nothing to check. And that's not a really fun feeling, not gonna lie. It's a very personal thing, but I'm not afraid admitting that I'm pretty lonely, and I think a lot of you out there are as well. I envy those in relationships, so if you're, look in the mirror. If you're in a position you're not happy with, admit it, or if you're in a position where you're happy, then be thankful while you have it. However, though, this has affected my, interest in the game. I mean, school especially, it's like every single day I've got X amount of time to log on and do as much work as I can before, I have to go do other stuff. And well, as I've mentioned before, a lot of our work has been done in creative. I've always been opposed to recording that though, which is kind of changing. I'm going to switch that up a little bit because, like this slime farm, I just opened at the beginning of the video that we're actually editing it to add an on-off switch, which means all of our work here so far has been good. It can be used. It's just that the rest of the design needs to be changed in a pretty fundamental way. So, yeah. Also, I should note that Daniel convinced Nuke to use pistons, so we'll see how that turns out. But effectively, we can't work on the slime farm, which isn't even our highest priority project. This was supposed to be just something to do, and it's taken a very long time. Our actual projects, the official projects, you guys ready? What's going on in Minerva? Tier number 1 is a wither farm. It's also very close second or tied with the nether web. These are the two things that need to be done. That I opened this video in the nether web, and I won't be finishing it in the nether web because we actually, as you saw, kind of lost the world, and some progress needs to be either found or remade. So that's also on pause. So you guys can expect in the future, if I start recording again, I might need a bit of a break. This isn't an official break video, but it might happen where I might need to not play for a while because I've talked about human days in the past. Well, sometimes it's good to just stop for a while, relax, because I've been doing daily uploads for a long time, and it's been pretty fun. I enjoy doing this stuff, but if those of you who are observant have probably noticed that it's gone from more and more survival builds to less survival to just talking, and those videos are important. The episodes where I really don't do much and I'm just kind of talking one-on-one to you guys is an important thing. I feel like I'm displaying a lot of information that needs to be shared and can aid you guys, at least in the viewing experience, and keeping you guys in the loop as to what's going on. Why do I have dragon eggs in here? And so those are important, but, you know, not my favorite kind of videos. Of course, my favorite kind of videos are when I log into Minerva, I've got plans, I've got things I'm doing, and I just cannot wait to finish them. Well, as I've just said, a lot of our projects are either extremely dull, extremely boring, where we require testing. I mean, like the Wither Farm, for example. That's been on kind of a standstill because there's just a lot of things that actually need to be done to build that and test it and work out our different designs and do all the math for it. So, you know, we're literally just waiting for different people to test it. And I haven't done a lot of things that I probably should be doing, so I think I'm just going to get back into it because I've said before in the past that, like, the only thing in the way of getting what we want done is just doing it. And so I'm going to go do it. I'm going to hop in creative and get a lot of stuff done. The last thing that I kind of want to mention is kind of a big one. Not that big, but also kind of big. Is asking you guys, just finding out in advance if you would be interested in me starting a Patreon. Now, the reason I mentioned earlier about the screen tearing and how I could fix that is a better CPU. I've been saving up for months now for the new i7-7700K, which isn't new anymore. Holy shit. Anyway, I'm just going to stop running around. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. The new i7-7700K. So that plus a motherboard plus RAM it would be about $500 or $600, which I don't have. I've got maybe a sixth of that, but really not that much. So ads from the videos help. I mean, if any of you guys watch my videos without ad block, that's an enormous amount of help. Really, it does matter, and that is very much so appreciated. But a Patreon would be kind of a perfect thing. So there are things that I would consider. Now, let me just start with those, I suppose. Patreon would be, I mean, it wouldn't actually grant anybody access to the Minerva world. This is never going to be a pay-to-play server. The members here are all qualified and they bring something to the table. However, I could start maybe a fan server or access to our creative test worlds, or I could start releasing videos early on a second account or something. I don't really know what you guys would want. This is just kind of a question. Should I start a Patreon, or what should the prizes be, or should I just not at all? I want to do it because I know for sure that, like, I want to just pause the video real quick and just add something that part of the reason that I want to actually start a Patreon is because I know that people have offered in the past and they said they'd support me. Otherwise, honestly, I wouldn't really consider it at this stage in my channel. I just wanted to mention that I forgot to mention in the original video. Like, right now I am currently setting up a PayPal for real. I mean, like an actual PayPal. The entire time it's all been going to my mom's account, and that's okay. Everybody who donated to the server, all the different members who pitched in, that all went to my mom's PayPal, and then we still got to get stuff. But what a Patreon would do for you guys is something I want to ask, like what should the prizes be? Another side note here, I never actually mentioned another thing, and that's that if ever the Patreon actually took off and I really got the support that I needed as far as like computer upgrades and stuff, any extra money would go towards, like I said earlier, fan server or better prizes or other kinds of things, or even better, it would help, not even better, but also it would help pay for like my Nervous server upgrades because we do have multiple servers that we play on, and at this point we kind of rely on having multiple domains to host different worlds for testing different designs and stuff. And that kind of money would mean I wouldn't have to ask donations from the members, and it would just make everything we've got going on here a lot more stable for me and for you guys included. But also, it would help me a lot as well. Computer upgrades are something that I'm seriously in need of. Let me hit F3 real quick. For you nerds, you should know that an AMD A10 7700K is a 4-core, it's a dual-core hyper-threaded processing APU with 4 graphics processing cores, which does the job. I mean, I'm recording a 1080 here, but the only reason it's actually playable is because my graphics card, the 1060, is the one kind of doing all the encoding. I'm going to stop being technical. With a new, like with a proper i7 7700K, that's 4 cores, 8 hyper-threaded, and it would just, I would be able to stream, record, edit, render. I mean, I would never be doing those things at all the same time, but rendering videos would take a lot less time, editing would be a lot smoother of an experience. Recording Minecraft would be in a higher quality than it is now even. It would be much easier for me to play. I would be able to pull a decent frame rate when this sorting system over here is sorting. Right now it's not. It's actually pretty nice at about 30 FPS smooth. I mean, that's okay. This is definitely playable. You guys can see that. But anybody who's watched my videos in the past have seen that when this thing is sorting at full scale with multiple people online, it is 14 FPS, and it's choppy. So, yeah, a new CPU would just allow me to do so many more things as a creator. In fact, on the Patreon homepage, it says, like, letting creators create. To have this kind of financial buffer, if you will, would allow me to do everything I already do but better. It would be in a higher quality, it would be more efficient. Obviously, I'd be able to produce more videos. If Minecraft ran smoother, I'd be happier to play in-game a lot more. It would be a lot less screen teary, as I'm sure you guys have seen with me running around this. It's not that great. I don't see it, but it shows up in my videos, and that's not okay. I really don't like that. I have a certain standard I like to keep. Obviously, making a video is all about the story. It's all about what you're showing, what you're talking about, and then displaying that information in a way that people enjoy watching. So these things are all important to me, but with a better computer and a better system, I would be able to do so much more. Then there's also the more real factor where I'm in high school, 12th grade. I'm about to graduate, meaning in the future tense here, we're looking at I do kind of have an agreement with my parents, kind of, where I'll be taking quite a few months, hopefully a year, hopefully just a year where I can just live, work on my channel, play on the server, manage everything, kind of enjoy my life for about a year. Not getting a job, just kind of hanging out at home, getting things all, you know, just just living because school has been a motherfucker, and I think somebody has to at least enjoy their life before they get thrown into the workforce and stuff. But if I had some kind of Patreon, or if the channel grew as it is growing now, I should be expected to have 1,000 subs within a few weeks here, and that's a really exciting thing. I think it's really awesome that so many people have supported the channel in so many ways, and a Patreon is just another way to do that. So that's a really long, detailed answer as to why I would need a Patreon and why you guys should support me if you do, if you can. Honestly, I wouldn't ask anybody specifically to support me. It's only if you can and want to, and you like these kind of videos and you want to see more of them. Supporting me in such a way would be the best way to do so. I really don't think there's too much to say. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Looking at the time that I've been recording, this has been a 15.5-minute monologue. So I might have to cut this into 2 parts, or else it's going to be a half-hour long video. But yeah, more progress on this soon. Future videos will probably be in creative mode just so that I can, on different worlds, on different worlds, just so you guys can see what we're doing, because most of it's not in survival right now. So, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you give me a lot of feedback in the comments, and stay tuned for more in the future. Thanks for watching.